Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Mental Mondays. Much appreciated you guys tuning in for it. I know that everybody that's watching this video today tends to be a hardcore intuitive angling fan. I don't get any just casual, viewers on the Mental Mondays. It's usually the hardcore dudes. So much appreciated that. We sort of have a common bond if you're interested in the mental part of it, because I am. So today's topic, what I want to talk about is energy suckers, toxic, narcissistic energy suckers. I'm going to apply it to fishing and in life in general. And, sort of give you my thoughts on that, maybe give you some tips, advice in dealing with them. And also, if you tend to be one of those energy suckers, maybe I can help you not suck so much energy out of people. But anyway, just real quick, I'm going to throw out a quick reminder to start the week that if you guys are interested in any of our Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns, Johnny, myself, Matt, Stefan are pumping them out. We got them for 4 months, all 4 seasons, all the lakes across the country. If you want to learn more about your favorite lake, or if you have a lake you want to learn some good spots on, just check them out at fishthemoment.com under the lake map breakdown section. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. Energy suckers. First of all, to clarify, I want to sort of define what I call an energy sucker. And an energy sucker are people that are exhausting to be around. And you guys probably know what I'm talking about. They're the people that when you communicate with them, they just take and take and take, and they never give. They don't really know how to communicate very well. And they suck your energy, and you feel drained after you've been around them. And I want to give you guys some examples of that in fishing and regular life as well. First of all, as one of the examples I want to give you guys, that in my opinion, when you're talking about energy suckers, most politicians and most extremely wealthy individuals that I've had the, chance or opportunity, I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but that I've met before, tend to fall in this category. I'll give you guys an example. Years ago, I was at this grand opening of this business. And there was a congressman there, a state congressman. And anyway, I saw him up there, and he had made some stances, some his environmental positions were basically responsible for polluting a lot of water, around different parts of the state that I live in. And I went up to him and I started confronting him about it, and I called him out on it. I basically called him out on his position that basically allowed companies to pollute some of the waterways around the state. And immediately he got defensive about it. And you're not going to believe it. When I called him out on it, I could tell he wasn't getting used to getting called out on it. It embarrassed him because there were some people around, and there was a box like right next to where I was standing by him, and he was quite a bit shorter than I was. He stands up on this 12-inch box. He gets up on it to where he's taller than me, like he's trying to dominate me. And I'm like, I just said to myself, you got it. What the heck is this guy doing, And he starts railing on me with this canned talking point speech that you could tell was just pre-rehearsed if somebody challenged him on something like this. And he was talking at me. There was no conversation. He was spouting off these talking points like he was looking straight through me. And of course, you guys know me, it didn't go well. I mean, when he started doing that, I sort of immediately let him know what I thought about it, and it did not end well. And but that's a prime example. Most politicians are like that. Politicians are energy suckers because they make it sound like they're all interested in their constituency, but when it comes down to it, most of them are just the greedy, and they're in it for themselves. And they are prime examples of people that just talk. They don't talk with you in a conversation. They talk at you or through you. It's like they're looking at you, but they're not looking at you. You're like an object to them. Most politicians are like that, not all of them. The same with super wealthy people. I've had an opportunity to be around a handful of mega wealthy people, billionaire class type people. And I've had an opportunity to have some conversations with them. Every one of those dudes that I've been around, it's the same thing. When you're talking to them, there's no exchange back and forth. There's none of this, there's no interest in the person they're talking to. They're talking at somebody. When they don't look you in the eyes, they look through you, and what they're doing is they're sucking your energy. They're incapable of allowing somebody to have an energetical exchange as a human being. So those are two prime examples of people that suck energies: politicians and extremely wealthy people, in my opinion. So anyway, what you have here, guys, and the reason that you want to stay away from what I call toxic energy suckers is you guys have been around people like this. Everybody knows somebody like this. How many people do you guys know that when you go up to have a conversation with them, they start talking and it's like, and they start talking and it's like they don't take a breath. It's just like blah, 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 blah. And you're just shaking your head, blah, 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 blah. And there's no give and take. And there's been a handful of people, friends of mine that were friends of mine before, that I just distanced myself from them, because it's like every time I had a conversation, there was no conversation. Every time they were talking to me, I came away from it exhausted. It's like I was giving them so much energy. I was focused. I was giving them eye contact. I was focused on what they were saying. I was listening to what they were saying. And there was none of that. There was no chance for me to like interject and talk to them about it. They were just like, just sucking the energy right out of me. And everybody knows people that are out there like that. It's almost like they have not been taught as an early age to be a listener. And that's one of the things I want to talk about today, guys, how important it is to be a good listener. It's more important than being a talker. When you're having an interaction with somebody, it's an energetical exchange. That's what it is. And when you're talking to somebody, the conversation should be balanced. It should be free-flowing back and forth. There should be an exchange of ideas that go back and forth. And when you exchange an idea, it's only right to give some time, let the person give that energy back. And this nice back and forth energy of exchange is what makes for a rewarding, satisfying, wholesome, healthy conversation between people. But man, I've got a couple friends out there, or past friends, that I every time I got around them, whether it be on the phone or in person, it's just like I came away from it just like, man, I'm just exhausted and I haven't even said a word. And I know you guys probably been around people like that. So anyway, if you're one of those people out there, if you're an energy sucker, I'm not saying you're a bad person for it. It's probably a product of your upbringing. If you're sucking energy, just be aware of it. Just be aware that you're sucking somebody else's energy. And instead of dominating the conversation without stopping, take time to listen. Most people are not very good listeners. And being a good listener is one of the most admirable qualities you can have as a human being. People talk too much. I mean, I sit here and talk on the videos, but if you were here in person with me, it wouldn't be like this. We'd have an exchange back and forth. But if you're one of those energy suckers like that, make time to make eye contact with the person you're talking about. Because when you have eye contact with that person, you're exchanging energy. And be genuinely concerned and interested in what that person's telling you. Acknowledge what that person's telling you. And in doing so, it's going to be a much more rewarding conversation. Now, the fishing, let's talk about energy suckers and fishing. I've had the same thing with that. The same thing can apply as far as conversation goes. But I've also had energy sucker people in my life in fishing that when it came to exchanges of information, it would always be one-sided. I would be providing more information than they would be providing. They would be sucking information. I would be providing information. And anytime that I've gotten into a conversation about fishing with somebody that I trusted enough to share information with, I always try to make an attempt to have an even exchange of energy within that conversation. And I had a pretty good friend for years. This has been quite a few years ago that, we were good friends. We, had great conversations and that type of stuff for years and years. And eventually something just sort of switched in him. I'm not sure what happened. There was maybe at this, even to this day, I'm not sure, but our conversation started to get extremely one-sided. And the only reason this person would talk to me, it eventually got to the point where anytime I would talk to this person on the phone or in person, there would be nothing about, hey, what's going on? How you been doing? All this type of stuff. It would always be like asking me fishing questions. And there was nothing, like he was trying to suck me for all my information in fishing, which is fine. I don't mind giving fishing information, but there would be nothing to give back. There was nothing, no type of exchange with that. And eventually the conversations degraded so much to the point that there was nothing there but him just wanting to suck fishing information out of me. I just had to distance myself from him because it became toxic at that point. So anyway, guys, that's just the point I want to make here, is be aware of energy suckers, because you don't need to be around them. I mean, you can call them out on it. Sometimes some people can change, some people are incapable of changing, but just be aware of the fact that you don't need to give your time to somebody that's sucking your energy. And for you guys out there that may fall into the category of energy suckers, you can change. Just be aware of your behavior. Be aware of what you're doing. Try to make an effort, to be a good listener a little bit more. As far as for the politicians and super mega wealthy people, I think they're so far gone, there's probably no help for them out there. They're just like a malignant, narcissistic, toxic energy sucker. So, but there is hope for most people. So anyway, guys, that's today's Mental Monday video, energy suckers. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to y'all next week. See you.